you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that. Who told you that you so special? To a new world order. Your facts ain't facts without censoring us. Yeah, we know that. Good job, you lose, here's your medal. To a new world order.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.
My watch is broken.
You could tell time by measuring the sun's distance from the horizon.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags.
I ain't never gonna pretend that I give a damn. Anybody who's offended, come get it, we throwing hands. Anybody not trying to make America great again, you a punk, you a clown, better know where I stand. I'm a white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog.
We don't give a what.
100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog.
We think that you suck.
My patriots, the craziest, they ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip, the same the stick and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun, smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them, there's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem, smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms, fan with a handgun, run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave to the grave, United States. We love the country that they've been corrupting, go woke and go broker if you ain't awake.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American
Got that
flags.
AKA all Draco, leave you stankin', break your ankles. I'm not hearing what you saying. Hit the pavement, now you seeing angels. It get dangerous, go against the Patriots. Got all the bangers. Take a look inside my closet. You gon' see way more than hangers, hammers like I do construction. Ammo, I'ma shoot at something. Why you think we own these guns? So we could just go do some hunting. You must not pay close attention. Government, they want division. Only treason if you lose. I guarantee we come out with it. Let my flag fly high like eagles. I would die for all my people. You can't change me with procedures. I'm about freedom, you about evil. Leave you hanging from the ceiling like chandeliers in cathedrals. Never have the safety on, and when we run out, we just
My
reload.
people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. Every time we pull up, you see stars, you see stripes,
Check, 1,
you see
2.
flags on the cars and the trucks and the bikes. Every time we pull up, we go hard, we outside, we got flags on our arms that are tatted there for life.
Test 1, 2,
Every
3,
time we
4.
pull up, we don't care if you mad.
Test
We
1, 2,
cherish this
3,
land.
4,
The
5.
haters can't get
Test 1,
buried
2,
in
3.
rags. They set fire
Test
to
1,
all
2.
glory, turning fabric to ash.
But every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. gunshots and the gold medal. And you can hear the sound of the rebels.
Made it out of poverty. No trespassing sign on our property. I'm allowed to be loud if I wanna be. I'm proud to be free on my land, shoot guns, who's stopping me? Stand alone, never fold, reload. Just make sure when we're gone, our story gets told. And the new generation learns from the old. To change the course of history, you gotta be bold.
When the smoke clears and the dust settles, you can hear the sound of the rebels. The gunshots and the gold medal. And you can hear the sound of the rebels.
Against the grain, stand on what I say. And when death comes knocking, smile in its face. We don't turn the other cheek, this ain't for the weak. And when push comes to shove, there ain't no retreat. These politicians, they got us standing in opposition. They know the mission, misinform and sell division. Take what we given and make it into a new religion. We drink the Kool-Aid, then we begin to lose the vision. Whoa, my foes don't wanna see a collision, no. Can't run from the lead that the trigger throw. All the war, so much is done on the low. We never fold, we're by the code.
When the smoke clears and the dust settles, you can hear the sound of the rebels. The gunshots and the gold medal. And you can hear the sound of the rebels.
You ever seen a man cry? Seen a man die, held him in my hands. I seen it with my damn eyes. Never say a word, we just stomach it. It's time to start marching, hear the drums again.
Switch to Chrome to load your favorite.
America is going rogue. The streets are full of fire and smoke. This ain't the way I thought it would be. The White House full of evil folks. Americans ain't free no more. They don't respect folks like you and me. The way we're treated ain't been fair. Fake news on every TV. 4 years we've been in this nightmare while they killed American dreams. We can't afford our lives here. Rent, food, and gasoline. These colors don't run and I only want it once. Buddy, don't tread on me. I won't forget the ones who died for our freedom, and I ain't gonna hand it back. No, no, no. If liberty and justice ain't enough to believe in, then get out of here and don't look back. Go, go, go. We love our home, and if you don't, pack your bags, you're free to go. Don't let the big door hit you with a good Lord split you. Wave goodbye to Joe. We love our land. If you ain't fans, buddy will help you pack your bags. Don't let the big door hit you with a good Lord split you. Burn someone else's flag.
America is losing hope, divided by the way we vote. This ain't the way that this all should be. We're fighting over memes and jokes. They're burning flags that we hold close. They think that war's only overseas. The way we're painted ain't been fair. So what, you don't know me? You got something to say, well I'm right here. Thank us for the freedom of speech. You like to claim I don't care, cause I ain't gonna bend no knees.
These colors don't run and I only want it once. Buddy, don't tread on me. I won't forget the ones who died for our freedom, and I ain't gonna hand it back. No, no, no. If liberty and justice.
Way down south where the tall pines sway, rolling with Don on the campaign trail today. Big trucks, big hats, flags in the breeze, red, white, blue, living wild and free. Out in the sticks with a MAGA sign, barbecue smoke and a jug of moonshine, running through towns in a pickup truck, talking real loud cause we don't give a what. Redneck Road with Donald J. Raising hell in the USA. From the trailer parks to the big state fairs, ain't no stopping, we're everywhere. Fried chicken, beer, and a country song, shaking hands while we roll along. A shotgun rack and a southern drawl, taking this party to the Waffle Hall. Redneck Road with Donald J. Raising hell in the USA. From the swamps to the mountain ridge, campaign trail to the honky-tonk bridge. Bonfires burn on election night, a redneck army standing tight. Win or lose, we'll raise a glass, kicking back with some country sass. Redneck Road with Donald J. Raising hell in the USA. If you're country, then you know it's true. We ride or die for the red, white, and blue. Yeah, 2025, baby. Yeah, 2025, baby.
Odin Valhalla Rising, now available on mobile and PC, exclusively with Google Play Games. Ascend to Valhalla on a larger PC screen and earn Google Play points for every purchase you make on PC. Download Google Play Games today.
Concentrate fire on the target. Enemy battleship sunk. America.
Way down south.
America is going woke. The streets are full of fire. Hi, I'm
praying that the world changes soon. Can get a doobie on a plane, but there's Uzis in our schools. Every dude who touched a boob or a booty getting me too. What you expect from the kids who went to Hooters after school? We're all triggered and defensive. We're all racist and we're sexist. We all grew up watching South Park. How are we offended? Now being fat is beautiful. Name a thing that you can't do. Jumping jacks, run a mile, live past 42. Man, it used to be cool to just flip a bird to the system, and now it's trendy to be triggered and pretend you're a victim. It's my race, it's my weight, it's because I'm a Christian. I hate the internet and anyone who has an opinion. And everybody angry if you say white. Okay, fine. Pass me the brush and I'll paint my face to the shades right. Let's talk about abortion. Sorry, tell me how this works. Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth? Weird.
Y'all so stupid. Why are y'all so stupid?
Get better problems, I swear to God that y'all want them. Y'all so dumb.
People so stupid. People so dumb. People so boo-hoo. Wah, wah, wah.
Get better issues, we're gonna run out of tissues. It's so dumb.
Yes, ma'am. What? Look, I've always been in favor of students coming in from other countries. That includes China. And we have 500,000 Chinese students coming in. I've always been in favor of it. Does it mean that you have to watch people? Yeah, you have to watch students, but you have to.
All right. He had this huge thing in the Oval Office signing the new actual law, not an executive order, that won't allow California to put the all-electric mandate into effect. Automotive industry is happy about it. Consumers are happy about it. Prices in cars will drop $3,000 or $4,000. Then he got around about an hour into of taking questions from the press. And these are very important answers that nobody's going to see this on the news. But he's going to explain how he's in favor of student visas, and he's in favor of vetting people that may have been here illegally for 20. But these are crucial answers that you need to know just so you can try to relate, or at least when you're communicating with other people that won't listen to you. But let's give it a go here. Oh, I'm on the outdoor deck and the fan just came on. I'm going to mute the microphone so it won't make too much noise. It won't interrupt too much, I promise.
Watch other people also. I've always been strongly in favor of it. I think it's a great thing. It's good for our schools. I think it's good for our country. I'm also in favor of having them stay. I've been in favor of letting them stay. If you get educated for 4 years, you're willing to get educated for 4 years. I like people being able to say, they have some great students. You have some, these are Republicans left. Because a lot of Republicans don't like that idea. I happen to like it. I'm a real Republican, believe it or not. But I like the idea. They go 4 years. To me, that's almost like, just buying your way in a very legitimate way. And, you have stories where Apple wants to hire some electric vehicle mandate once and for all.
The premiums where we sold over 8
power. You seemed a little surprised about what's going on.
Connection. Right. So if you're a student,
so ridiculous. By the way, you Democrats into your place, less expensive process. You look at that process. You look at that train. The train is the most. I've seen people.
Are you going to find a reason to keep them there?
I also worry about unit.
Number two, incredible this action is because nobody thought this was one that I would.
Like those adopted in California do not.
Mullen, Senator, watch my victory in the area where I was going to make a speech. All goes into effect. Everything I said goes into effect. Plane crash was terrible. I've already told them anything we can do. And it's a big country, a strong country, and they'll handle it, I'm sure. But I let them know that anything we can do, we'll be over there immediately. But it was a horrific crash. It looks like most are gone. They actually maybe have a couple survivors, which is just heard. But that was a horrible crash. Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea what it might be. I gave him a couple of pointers. I said, maybe you look at this or that. We saw the plane. It looked like it was flying pretty well. It didn't look like there was an explosion. It just looked like the engines maybe lost power. But boy, that is a terrible crash. It's one of the worst in aviation history. Yeah, second.
How can you serve that conflict with Iran can get away?
Well, I'd love to avoid the conflict. Iran's going to have to negotiate a little bit tougher, meaning they're going to have to give us some things that they're not willing to give us right now. I'm the last person. I've kept us out of wars. We defeated ISIS completely, 100%. And I haven't had it's peace through strength. I believe in peace through strength. We're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt the military, as you remember, for 4 years. I rebuilt the military. And then we gave a chunk of it away, but it was still peanuts. It was a lot, but it was peanuts compared to what we rebuilt. Gave it to Afghanistan, one of the most embarrassing moments in the history of our country, with the whole withdrawal, the way they withdrew. It was very embarrassing, but we rebuilt the military. We have the greatest, strongest military. We defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. It was told to be 5 years. It was going to take 5 years, anywhere from 4 to 5 years. We did it in 4 weeks, with, by the way, headed by the general who's now the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That's why he's there. He said it would take 4 weeks, and he did it in 4 weeks. He did actually a little bit faster. So we have a great country, and we're going to keep it that way. And when it comes to Los Angeles or other cities, if we see other cities are gearing up, and these people are agitators, they're paid, they're professionals, they're insurrectionists, they're troublemakers, they're all of those things. But I believe they're paid, and we're going to find out through Pam Bondi and her great staff, her great people at Justice, who they are. And Mike, I think you're doing some investigations in that in Congress, but we're going to find out who they are, because they're really I think what they're doing is unbelievably illegal. Just one thing. So they took the bricks away from people. They're walking in with satchels of bricks. Now, why do you have bricks? You have bricks because you throw bricks. They're very potent. If they hit you, they kill you. And they took them away. The military took them away. They saw him. What the hell is this? The guy could hardly carry him. Many bricks. He's a strong guy. Couldn't carry him. And they saw that, and they took him away. Then they found others with bricks. But they're ingenious. They also brought hammers along, very heavy hammers, and I saw them pounding the curb and pounding the sidewalk, and it was like a military operation. This guy's pounding strong, boom, big shots, and it was breaking up granite, the granite curbs, and the granite was breaking up, and the concrete was breaking up, and there was lines of people standing there, and handing them, and then he stopped handing them. They just went down and picked them up. It was so professional. I said, that's a professional organization. This is not like people at random. This guy's breaking up because they couldn't use the bricks. So who would think of this even? Did a lot of damage. A lot of curbs are broken. A lot of sidewalks broken. But I never saw that before. That's one I haven't seen. I thought I saw it all. And they have it on tape. And with that, people get killed. They go to the bridges and they drop the concrete off the top of the bridge with a car coming along at 70 miles an hour, and the person dies. And we had a lot of car problems. You saw that. They were all over the road. They were littered all over the road, where the cars got stopped by concrete going through the front windshield. These are bad people. If we didn't go, Los Angeles right now would be on fire. It would be a disaster. And we stopped it. And last night was very good. Nobody showed up. You know why they didn't show up? Because we were there. If it was just the police, because the police are great. I know those police, they're great, but they're told not to do anything. They're not allowed to act. Thank you. Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen. Look, it's very simple, not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be tremendous. We'll help them be successful. We'll trade with them. We'll do whatever is necessary. I stopped a war between India and Pakistan, and I stopped it with trade. I don't think I've ever seen a story written about it, but it's pretty cool. They were getting ready. Pakistan was their turn to hit, and eventually they're going to go nuclear. And I stopped it. I called each. I respect each leader greatly. I know them. And I spoke to them, and I talked about trade. I said, but you're not trading with us if you're going to go to war, if you're going to start throwing nuclear weapons around. And I said it to both of them, and they were both unbelievable, actually. They understood it exactly. They stopped. I stopped that war with phone calls and trade. And India's here right now negotiating a trade deal, and Pakistan's coming, I think, next week. And I'm very proud of that. Nobody died. The nuclear weapons, they each have very severe, very, very substantial numbers of nuclear weapons. And I think we should get some credit for that. The whole Republican Party should, because that's their mindset. Please. Yes, ma'am. What?
Okay, this is the part that I've been waiting for, and it's one you need to absorb. Trump shows his heart in that he's in favor of student visas. And illegals that may have been working on a farm for 20 years have been good people. Listen to these answers, because you're not going to see this reported anywhere else.
Look, I've always been in favor of students coming in from other countries. That includes China.
I've always been in favor of students coming in, including China. You hear that, everybody?
And we have 500,000 Chinese students coming in. I've always been in favor of it.
We have 500,000 Chinese students. I've always been in favor of it. Are you listening, people? Listen.
Does it mean that you have to watch people? Yeah, you have to watch students, but you have to watch other people also. I've always been strongly in favor of it. I think it's a great thing.
He thinks it's great that Chinese students come here. This is never going to be reported.
Also, it's good for our schools. I think it's good for our country. I'm also in favor of having them stay. I've been in favor of letting them stay. If you get educated for 4 years, you're willing to get educated for 4 years. I like people being able to stay.
This is totally opposite of what the public thinks about Donald Trump. I don't know how you can even convince people that this is real. I mean, if you played this for somebody, it'd be like the big hoax about all the fine people.
You know, they have some great students. You have some, these are Republicans left, because a lot of Republicans don't like that idea.
See, that's a room full of Republicans. So we're not all mean, and I'm not a Republican, but MAGA is not at all. Again, this will not be reported, so you have to tell your friends. That's why you listen to me to help you get to the bottom of the truth. Dirk Thompson, and Hunt for the Truth everywhere.
I happen to like it. I'm a real Republican, believe it or not. But I like the idea. They go 4 years. To me, that's almost like, just buying your way in a very legitimate way. And, you have stories where Apple wants to hire somebody and they can't hire him because he can't stay. He went to a great school. He finished first in his class. They made him a big offer and everything's done. But he has no idea whether or not he's going to be able to stay. And I'm all for making sure that people like that can go to work for all of our great companies. And you know what they do? They go back to their country.
And he's got a great plan for this. Companies, if they want to keep a student after graduating, they have to pay a fee like $100,000, $500,000 for each employee that they want to allow to stay in the U.S. Making money, Donald. Donald's making money.
And there are stories that are all over the place. They go back to their company and they start a company just like they were going to start here. They end up starting it in China or India or someplace else. And now they're among the richest people in the world. They've got thousands and thousands of employees and make it great. This is happening all the time because they're not allowed to stay. And I think we'll probably end up doing something about that, right? I think.
Chad, can we mark that for a short? That is something the entire world needs to hear. But unless you just sit here and wade through all the stuff like your friend does for you, no one's going to hear this shit. All right. We're going to go back to regular 2x speed listening to get through this.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You in the blue, please. Light blue.
2x. Yes, we listen fast. We can watch more shit then. We'll make it 175 to make it easier for you new poll members here calling for the truth.
I'm very close to the situation. I'm very disappointed in Russia, but I'm disappointed in Ukraine also because I think deals could have been made. And, we're losing 5,000-6,000 people a week, soldiers mostly, but also people living in towns because they're getting hit by missiles again. How'd you like to live in a building and you think a missile has a good chance of hitting your building?
White House communications staff, set the room up so the mic is the same everywhere. There's no reason with technology you can't have that room mic so everybody's here clearly. It will do you good because then we can hear the stupid reporter's questions easier. See? And on your shot, zoom in on what reporter's asking the question. I'm sick and tired of trying. Is that chick from CNN that's a bitch? But some advice. Get the mic situation straightened out. Donald, his mic's always on. But I don't know what.
Building during the evening. It's horrible. It must be horrible to live like that. But we'll get it. But it's I'm disappointed that it's not done. We did great with India and Pakistan. We did very good with Israel. I thought, look, October 7th was a disaster. People forget, they like to forget. That was a horrible thing. But, none of these things would have happened if I were president. If I were president, none of it would have happened. You wouldn't have the Israel problem. Iran was broke. They had no money. We had big sanctions on them. Biden immediately let them get rich. $300 billion they have right now. But they had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah. They had no money for anything. It was perfect. We wouldn't have had inflation that was caused by oil, Chris. The oil price went through the roof. It was also caused by their spending, but it was caused more by oil than anything else. The oil went so high. It got close to $100 a barrel. And that also kept the war going with Putin because at $100 a barrel, that was a big money-making experience. But now it's down to where it's not so good for them anymore. No, it's very important to get that settled. That's a bloodbath. That's a terrible bloodbath that's going on. Yeah, please go ahead. We're going to get those two getting together. You know, I told them. I said, a long time rivalry over Kashmir. And I said, please solve anything. I'll be your arbitrator. I'll be your arbitrator. I can solve anything. And so the first question, how long has it been going on? They said, 2,000 years. I said, oh, that's not right. When I heard 2,000 years, I said, thank God, John has solved that problem. Peter?
Thanks, President Trump. I have two. First, on immigration. What made you change your mind about targeting in California farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take.
Here we go. This is the one. This is the other clip I was telling you about. You're going to hear about. Oh, no. Did I lose it? If I lost it again, that's it. Come on.
Hydrogen, because hydrogen has a tendency that when it blows.
Please.
Because we can discuss, we get a lot of press, we were laughed at all over the world. Now we're not laughed at. And I used to say, I'm amazed that he's endorsing it. Bill Kent runs a. You're right. Common. Now today they got him to change his tune. He said, look at this. We started playing.
I lost
it
the guy. It's
flying pretty well. It didn't look like there was an explosion.
It's so far behind, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to catch up, but let's see.
Forward is to continue to partner with this Trump administration.
Everybody except. Okay. Because at $100 a barrel.
Here we go.
Get this. A king would have never had the California man. And how strong our military is. We have this.
That you're okay.
All right, I got it back. How about that?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that.
You hear that? On the farms, illegals are there, but they've been for 20, 15, 25 years. We got to do something. He's not saying those are the people he wants to get out. Again, student visas, loves them, especially the Chinese, and they want them to stay so they don't take all their knowledge and make their business elsewhere. So here you go, folks.
We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
Okay, people. Again, Chad, cut that out for a clip. All three major issues you don't have to worry about because the media is not getting. Well, he's not. This is the first time I've heard him really pinpoint this message. I always assumed that was, but this is pretty big, guys.
And my other question about the Middle East, as the Israelis apparently gear up for some kind of an attack, possible attack on Iran, are you trying to talk Netanyahu out of doing that, or are you so against Iran having a nuclear weapon that you're okay, he does his thing because it's not an American war?
Yeah, it's a very fair question. Look, I want to have an agreement with Iran. We're fairly close to an agreement. We are fairly close to a pretty good agreement. It's got to be better than pretty good, though, but it's got to be, I'd much prefer an agreement. As long as I think there is an agreement, I don't want them going in because I think I would blow it. Might help it, actually, but it also could blow it. But we've had very good discussions with Iran. Whether or not we get there, I can't tell you, but it'll happen soon. I say this, Peter, very strongly. They can't have, whether it's going in or not going in, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I'd prefer the more friendly path.
And can you tell us what the Israelis told you start to evacuate the dependents of servicemen and women who are stationed in the Middle East?
They didn't tell me anything, but I said, look, there's a chance of massive conflict. We have a lot of American people in this area. And I said, we got to tell them to get out because something could happen soon. And I don't want to be the one that didn't give any warning and missiles are flying into their buildings. It's possible. So I had to do it. I had the choice. Do I do it or not? Doing it has its downside, but it also has its upside. Like, you're going to save a lot of lives. If it
People do not understand how kind this man is.
should happen, hopefully that doesn't happen. Right? Thank you.
He was that serious. You see that serious look on his face? That's a pretty damn serious look.
President, for Americans that are coming to Washington on Saturday for military break,
It's going to be a great day.
what would you like folks to take away from that day? What would you hope that they would remember? And also, Mr.
Great our country is, and how strong our military is. We have the strongest military in the world. It's very interesting. 3 weeks ago, it was the end of world anniversary, end of World War II, and I called France, and Macron, who's a good man, I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "We're celebrating World War II, our victory." I said, "Your victory? Your victory? Tell me about that." And then I called somebody else, and I happened to speak to President Putin at the time. Now, in all fairness to him, he lost 51 million people, and he did fight. Russia fought. Sort of interesting, isn't it? He fought with us in World War II, and everybody hates him. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. Someday somebody will explain that, but I like Germany and Japan too. But Putin is a little confused by that. He said, we lost 51 million people, and we were your ally. And now everybody hates Russia, and they love Germany and Japan. I said, let's explain that sometime, okay? But it's a strange world. But I will say this: look, I want them to go away saying how great our country is and how great our military is. And I was making all these calls, and for some reason I spoke to like 4 different places. Sir, are you celebrating? And I said, we won World War II and World War I, right? We won them. And yet we're the only country that doesn't celebrate. Everybody's celebrating except us. And I said, we should celebrate too.
There are several No Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
What do they call? No King?
No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved. A king would say, I'm not going to get this. A king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking to him. He wouldn't have to call up Mike Johnson and Thune and say, fellas, you got to pull this off. And after years, we get it done. No, we're not a king. We're not a king at all. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir,
Go ahead.
Mr. President, sir, you made a lengthy posting today on Truth Social about Senator Rand Paul. Do you expect to see him at the picnic tonight, sir?
I do. I look forward to seeing him, actually. I like him. He's the hardest vote in the history of the U.S. Senate to get. Probably won't get him. But he's a very tough vote. I mean, he's a very tough vote. He's always been a friend of mine. I endorsed him and got him elected. I got him elected twice.
Yet,
but
it gets good there about.
I don't think he
at 10 o'clock our time
understands how great this bill is. This is a great bill. Here. No tax on tips. No tax on the Social Security payments. It's unbelievable what happens. No tax on overtime. You work overtime. No more tax. Those are big, but they're minor compared to the big things. Taxes reduced. And let's look at the other side. If it doesn't get approved, a 68% tax increase, 68%, including the fact that the Trump tax cuts kick in. But it's a 68% tax increase and many other bad things. Some of them are so bad, I don't even want to talk about them. I think it's one of the greatest bills we'll ever pass in this country. And I think that Leader Thune and this gentleman right here, what he's gone through on this with, we started off with a majority of 1. Now I guess we have 7. So it's like easier, but it's really sort of 3. It's 7, but it really equates to 3, right? And we have great support. I mean, I can't tell you, I can't guarantee, but when you have a majority of essentially 3, where you can't lose anything more than 3 votes, and you get it passed, it's pretty amazing. And I think it's going to haunt the Democrats because most of the bill is common sense. It's tax cuts, it's border wall funding, it's military funding properly spent. It's all things that are like common sense. They're all good. There's nothing tricky about it. It's basic stuff.
Right,
and we don't intend on getting one. Look at it. Not one Democrat vote in the House. Mike, not one. Maybe somebody will come along. I don't know how they can run for office. So many different things. We're going to very important. Medicare and Medicaid are going to be strengthened, not hurt. They're using fake narrative. They're going to be strengthened. We're going to strengthen them. They're going to destroy them because under their policies, Medicare and Medicaid go away. Social Security under them is going to be devastated. With us, it's going to be much stronger than before. And very interestingly, I saw this and I proved it because for 4 years I never heard Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. I've already been there, but they're going to destroy Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. They're going to wipe them out, in my opinion, because their policies are so bad the country will have no money to pay for them. We're going to make them stronger than ever before. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, here we go. Let me see if I can get this switched around.
All right, and that was President Donald Trump in the East Room in Washington, D.C., signing a congressional resolution blocking California's vehicle emissions rules.
Let me get that stop sharing. Open up the Gnome press conference. I'm getting used to this new Rumble Studio interface. I've used OBS for like 15 years, but just experimenting with it because it's so much easier to use in one ways, but in other ways it's a pain, especially if you use OBS. So let me see. Turn that audio off. And, give me a second here. All right. If you do want to watch the riots live as they happen tonight, Steve Lookner, he was one of the first guys at RSBN, and he now has his own deal called Agenda Free TV, and that's the YouTube channel. Also, follow him on X. He's a good one to watch in the evenings, usually up until midnight Eastern, 1 a.m. So, yeah. Okay, Christy Nolan press conference. Audio on.
Behind me, too, is.
Here we go.
Have been absolutely imperative
I'm going to turn off my
us
microphone
in helping us make sure we're running operations and really targeting these bad actors. Our Federal Protective Services and also our Border Patrol agents have come and been partners with us in an incredible way.
And
they bring a skill set that has helped us have a whole of government approach under the Department of Homeland Security that has never happened before. The assets that they have and the willingness to do their jobs that this president has allowed them to do has been absolutely incredible. But what you see standing behind me, too, is also other federal partners that have come to the table that are here to bring safety and security to the city of Los Angeles. I want to specifically thank the Army. I want to thank the Marines, the National Guard, our soldiers, our military men and women who have shown up here to help make sure that we have security. Not only do they protect our country around the world, but they're doing it every single day here in the United States of America, too, and doing it
and if you're new to Dirk Thompson, Hunt for the Truth
to the
here
people in this country
Rumble,
because they took an oath to uphold the law. We also have a U.S. attorney here who has been aggressive, has been making sure that we don't pick winners and losers in this country, that the rule of law will be followed, and that people who break the law and perpetuate violence will be brought to justice. They will be prosecuted, and there will be consequences for that kind of activity. The Department of Justice is here and has a presence in our Incident Command Center, as well as the DEA, the FBI, and their investigative teams have been fantastic with their leadership. And we also have the IRS here that's helping us track how these violent protesters are funded, what NGOs out there, what unions, what other individuals may be funding these violent perpetuators that are in these protests that take people who may be wanting to come and be peaceful, but instead turn these into very violent activities that go after law enforcement. That's just simply not acceptable. And I also want to thank our U.S. Marshals. They've been so great in helping us to secure facilities, but also operations and also with transportation, that as soon as someone is arrested and brought into incarceration, that they are transported out.
Was watching some raids this morning, and God, people just rush to wherever people are being arrested, and they have crowds there, and then they have to have armed security, and they have to drive through traffic. Had another case where guy wouldn't get out in front of the car, and just like the other day, he's running backwards, and guys that stop and got hit just a little bit.
And able to face prosecution and the consequences for their crimes. I want people to know that while these officers and these agencies and our military are here doing this work and these operations, that the people across this country are so grateful. They are so grateful for the work that is being done here in Los Angeles. They are setting an example for what is happening across the country in other cities and putting together a model and a blueprint for how we can continue to work to make every single community great again and safe again for our kids and for our grandkids far into the future. I've been in many different states with all the different components that I represent over the last 4 or 5 days. And everywhere I go, people stop me and say, tell everybody who's working in Los Angeles that is working to bring safety to those city streets and to those families and protect those small business, tell them thank you. Tell them God bless you, that I hope that they are safe and they have been suffering, the people that live here, under the policies of Governor Newsom and under the policies of Mayor Bass, and they recognize that it's a huge disservice to the people who have to try to raise their families here, and that these agents and that these law enforcement officers are working to change that and give them an opportunity to be successful and to live the American dream. Listen, many officers have been assaulted over the last several days. We did see before that assault against law enforcement and ICE officers go up over 400%. In this situation, we've seen that increase even more. It's not acceptable. If you assault a law enforcement officer, we are going to come after you and we are going to arrest you, prosecute you, and put you away. That is not going to work. And under this administration with President Trump's leadership, one person is not better than another. Just because you think you're here as a citizen or because you're a member of a certain group or you're not a citizen, it doesn't mean that you're going to be protected and not face consequences from the laws that this country stands for. We have a constitution. We follow that constitution and the laws that have been passed by our Congress, and we're going to make sure they are equally applied to every single person as it applies under the Constitution here in Los Angeles, but also across the country. As our law enforcement officers officers have been assaulted. They've been pelted with rocks and bricks. Their cars have been set on fire. Molotov cocktails have been used. We have seen people throw bottles and hammers at them. We've also seen that they have been attacked and verbally spit on or punched or assaulted, and it's just not acceptable. The Department of Homeland Security and the officers and the agencies and the departments and the military people that are working on this operation will continue to sustain and increase our operations in this city. We are not going away. We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialist and the burdensome leadership that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country and what they have tried to insert into this city. So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles. I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted, and how their families have been put in jeopardy, and that we're not going to allow that anymore as well. That those individuals who are purposely endangering our ICE agents and that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country and what they have tried to insert into this city.
All right, here we go.
So I want to say thank you to every single person that...
Is that the woman? We're gonna goof around with this because
you to
frame by frame.
Every
Let's watch
single
the camera zooms out. You can't see my finger, but I think it's the last figure on the left.
Person.
Or no, is it the guy on the phone? I think that's what it, that's a pretty big guy. Yeah. Or no.
That has been able to do this.
Huh. Okay, you got that big guy there.
Person.
That's a photographer in the green and the ball cap. So you got the big tall guy. You got the guy on the far left has got his hands around him, and there's a woman against him. There's the photographer. He's blocking the protester. He was getting pretty close to Nome. Because look, when we come out here, Christine Nome attacked at press conference.
We have seen people throw bottles and hammers at them. We've also seen that they have been attacked and verbally spit on.
There's just a couple frames that have good quality, so I'm going to slow it down even more. Volume, the sound's going to start feeling funky.
Or punched or assaulted, and it's just not acceptable.
Guy looks to his right.
The Department of Homeland Security and the officers and the agencies and the departments and the military people
eyes outward
that are working on this operation.
Is that the guy standing right there with the forearms?
Operation will continue to sustain and increase our operations in this city.
He's standing on stage.
We are not going away. We are staying here to liberate
Watch the eyes.
the city from the socialist.
Oh, he's looking over now. She's looking over.
And the
she's looking right at him.
Burdensome leadership that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country. And what they have tried to insert into this.
There it is. And I can hear some noise in the background. Mr. Deputy Danger there is not noticing anything yet.
City. So I want to say
yeah, so you can hear the voice.
Thank you to every.
There's arm guy. Is it him? No, he's up on stage. There it is. Wow, he's 20 feet from her. They don't have like Secret Service protecting her to put this guy on the ground immediately. This is a lack of security.
Person that has been able to do this. Also, I want
He's screaming, hands up, hands up. Who's that photographer? Need to track him down, Chad.
to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles.
Why is this guy still in the room? Come on, man with a gun. Oh, she did. Why are they letting this guy continue? Come on, mace in the face. Well, there's people there. So, all right, real time.
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have
That's
been
going to be all over
targeted,
the internet
and how their
right
families have
now.
been put in jeopardy, and that we're not going to allow that anymore as well. That those individuals who are purposely endangering our ICE agents and our law enforcement officers and their families will be prosecuted for what they are doing as
Wow,
far as
that's
perpetuating
crazy.
violence on them. I want to know that the American people are grateful for our law enforcement officers. We will always respect them, and that President Trump is thankful for the leadership that has been shown by all of these agencies. In fact, President Trump did call in, and I did visit with him today, and he also visited with all of these agencies here this morning and thanked them for what they are doing to make sure that they are protecting the United States of America. The images that we've
This is not a scam. The Health Food Allowance Card
I
is
kind of like
available
that
for those
YouTube
on
is doing
Medicare.
this now.
This card can be worth a lot per year that can be used at your favorite supermarket for grocery shopping.
They're setting vehicles on fire. They're waving foreign flags on American soil while burning American flags. And they've damaged public property and destroyed private businesses. We need to make sure that we are continuing to protect the citizens that
Check
live
1,
here
2.
and want this community to be safe.
Check
Let me give
1,
you just
2,
a few
3,
examples
4.
of those who have been
Oh,
rioting.
now there's airplanes flying
that
over
many
this guy.
politicians like Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass are defending. There was a Vietnamese illegal alien who committed a mass shooting at a graduation party in 1994 that we've been able to take off the streets. A Filipino illegal alien that was convicted of an assault with intent to commit rape that we've been able to bring up into custody and incarceration. You see behind you some more profiles of individuals that have brought into custody through the operations we have here. A Mexican illegal alien convicted of willfully cruelty to a child, and on and on and on. Those individuals and those criminals are now off the streets of Los Angeles because of the activities that have been conducted here in the last several days and will continue to operate for days to come. When these riots first began on Friday night, a federal law enforcement building was surrounded by over 1,000 violent rioters, and it took Los Angeles Police Department 2 hours to respond. So we are going to continue to operate with our federal partners and continue to keep asking the governor and the mayor for their support and their backup in these operations to make sure that all of our law enforcement officers are protected while they do their work. We're going to protect American cities from lawlessness, and we'll do what it takes to put the American citizens first and make sure they have the opportunity to sleep safely in their beds at night. I just want to say, God bless all of our men and women of the military that serve, all of those who serve in our law enforcement agencies and in public service, that make great sacrifices away from their homes and from their families, but they do it because they believe in America, and they believe in freedom, and they believe in law and order, and that is what we are doing right here today, and we'll continue to do for days to come until Los Angeles once again is at peace. So with that, we'll turn it over to our next speaker, which I believe will be Todd Lyons from ICE.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I'm Todd Lyons. I'm the acting ICE director. Also, I'm the National Incident Commander for the situation. But I'd just like to say thank you, Secretary. No, she said best. There's really not much more I can say. It's without her leadership that we wouldn't be out here conducting this mission. President Trump fully has our back on this one, and we're doing the will of the American people. I want to thank the brave men and women of ICE, HSI, ERO, our attorneys with the Office of Public Legal Counsel, because without them, this would not be possible. They put their lives on the line every day. You also see my fellow agency heads here with me, and many that are not up here on stage. Men and women of law enforcement have been putting themselves in harm's way every night since we've been here in Los Angeles. What we've done here is taken a whole government approach for this immigration mission.
Holy
under the last
shit.
administration, there was millions upon millions of people that we don't know who came to this country. They were let in. They now have turned violent.
Hang on,
criminals.
guys.
Also, we have known suspected terrorists and gang members. Since January 20th, we've been making arrests in Los Angeles and all around the country. But specifically, we focus on gang members, human traffickers, violent drug dealers, and rapists. You know, the Secretary brought it up.
Hang on a second. Guys, we got breaking news here. I got to make sure you can see this screen. You can't. I'm going to get to learn to do this better. All right. I want to do a window. It's got this. All right. Can we see it now? All right. Check this out. That guy that just crashed her presser, it was a Democrat senator from Bill Malusian on X. Breaking: California Democrat Senator Alex Padilla of California just crashed the press conference. Well, that's a FAFO. What do you think, guys? Something going to happen. He'll be charged and in jail. This is a threat. They don't know who he is. He could have been shot. Well, this guy is going to jail. If those are federal officers, that's assault right there. That is resisting arrest and assault of 2 to 3 federal agents. He's going to get, all right. Let me get back over. You got it. I just keep doing it. Keep giving us that. I love it. That guy, if the congresswoman up in New Jersey can be charged, there goes a vote. Arrest your opponent. Keep it up. He's lucky he did not get fucked up. Just because someone comes in there and says I'm a senator, I'm still the lack. Two things here. Security sucks for her. Now, granted, he was able to get all the way in there because he's a senator, but still, it's the easiest place to assassinate somebody when they're in the area they think they're secure. But why? That was a dangerous situation. Now it's just dangerous for him. Fa-fo. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to watch it some more. What about you? Let's see here. Watch this all day. What was he talking about? Something 10 people. A half a dozen criminals that are there. Let's count the assaults here. All right, here we go. All right. If this guy is a federal law enforcement assignee, this guy could be Secret Service, federal security. Number one, if he is, that's assault right there. Look at him stare in the eye. He leans back into him. There's another assault. Yep, definite assault here. Oh, he's got the earpiece. So there's another one. That's assaulting a citizen. Yep. 1, 2. Oh, there's some more. All right. That dude just assaulted nearly a dozen potential federal agents or U.S. citizens. Christy Nome, go arrest him now. Or, I mean, you have to have your buddy, not Carolyn Lovett, Pam Bondi. Oh, this is gonna blow up the nets today. It's gonna blow them up. You got him right here at Unfor the Truth. Always bringing you the latest and greatest. One more time. Chance I can watch it again. All right, there he goes. We need to look at this in slow mo. Yep, federal agent. See his badge? See his badge right there? Yep, that's a federal agent too. That's 2 federal agents. There's a Capitol Police, nope, FBI officer, and there's another one, and he gets the Asian guy, and he's finally got his hands up. I hope they arrested his ass. All right, back to what we were doing that was more important. We're going to finish watching the damn press conference. Let me get it switched over. Silly Dirk, what are you doing?
assistance to law enforcement at all levels on a regular basis. We have agents embedded with our operational teams with DHS. Our help vary depending on what DHS needs, and they let us know moment by moment. We have significant tactical resources across the enterprise here throughout our 7-county AOR to assist and support these efforts. That said, we find ourselves defending operations from violent offenders. The FBI safeguards constitutionally protected rights. We investigate civil rights violations on a daily basis, but some activity keeps taking place among righteous protesters is not civil, it's violent. We're going to investigate allegations of violence, whether it's assault on law enforcement officers or civilians, looting, arson, doxing, or damage to public property. So please, I'm asking the community, do not put your life in jeopardy by hurting someone or destroying property. You will be held accountable by the FBI, and it's not worth it. I'd like to highlight 2 cases for you to show what the FBI's line of effort is in this overall DHS-led operation. Elpidio Reyna is a fugitive. He is wanted for the alleged assault of a federal officer in the city of Paramount, in California on June 7th, 2025. Reyna allegedly threw rocks at law enforcement vehicles on Alondra Boulevard in Paramount and injured a federal officer. Reyna is 40 years old, weighs around 165 pounds, and is 5'7". Reyna has a tattoo on his left arm with the word Carmen on it. We have photos of him on display. Reyna will be caught, and when he is, he will face a statutory maximum penalty of 8 years in prison. This is such a priority for the United States government that there is a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to his arrest. Let me repeat that, $50,000 for information leading to his arrest. The second case I'd like to highlight is on a subject named Alejandro Oriana. Alejandro was providing masks and face shields to violent rioters throughout the week and was arrested by our SWAT teams this morning. With the success and appreciation and assistance from the United States Attorney's Office, that case is ongoing, but Oriana is in custody as we speak. If you have information or evidence of violent acts, please either call 1-800-CALL-FBI, visit tips.fbi.gov, or send images or video to our digital tip line at fbi.gov/LA Office Assault. Thank you, and I will now turn it over to Chief Bovino, United States Border Patrol.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. I'm Greg Bovino, Chief Patrol Agent of the El Centro Border Patrol Sector and Lead Federal Coordinator for Customs and Border Protection entities here in Los Angeles. Entities include U.S. Border Patrol, Office of Field Operations, and CBP Air and Marine. We have several hundred agents and officers here in Los Angeles right now as we speak. Our primary mission here in Los Angeles revolves around Title 8 United States Code. Let me say that again. Title 8 United States Code. Those are our immigration statutes. If you look behind us at these pictures on the wall, immigration is not a victimless crime. A lot of bad people, a lot of bad things are in our country now, including Los Angeles. Customs and Border Protection, that's why we're here right now, is to remove those bad people and bad things, whether illegal aliens, drugs, or otherwise. We're here, we're not going away. Border Patrol, Office of Field Operations, and Air and Marine, you'll see us in Los Angeles. You'll continue to see us in Los Angeles, not going anywhere soon. As for the violence and the demonstrators, violence will not deter us, the CBP mission here in Los Angeles. I believe we saw that last Sunday night out at Paramount. We continued to conduct our patrols as we saw necessary in the middle of that riot. And we'll continue to do that from here on out. Our allied law enforcement agencies, many of whom you've already heard from, whether it's HSI, ERO, FBI, ATF, and all others, join with us as we conduct that Title 8 mission. Very historic. First time I've ever seen it in my almost 30-year career. It's actually breathtaking. Many millions of illegal aliens have passed across that border over the past several years. It's our job to get them out. And that's what we are going to do, and that's what we're doing right now. Thank you.
Alex Padilla of California.
Good morning. My name is Kenny Cooper. I'm a Special Agent in charge, ATF, LA Field Division. The Department of Justice will not be deterred from enforcing this nation's laws. ATF is on the ground doing what we do best, fighting violent crime and protecting our communities regardless of the environment around us. Our agents are trained to operate in high-threat, high-tension situations. When federal authorities move to execute court-authorized warrants, we support that mission with professionalism, precision, and resolve. ATF stands shoulder to shoulder with our federal partners in this whole-of-government approach. ATF stands also shoulder to shoulder, including to carry out our immigration enforcement mission. If a criminal threat intersects with that mission, we bring our full capacities to the table. Let's be clear, obstructing a lawful federal operation, especially through violence or threats, is not protective activity. It's a crime. And those who cross that line will be held to account. We don't get to pick and choose when to enforce the law. Our job is to uphold it, always. ATF will continue to pursue violent offenders, support our partners, and keep doing the hard work this public demands. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Billy Staley, the United States Attorney for the Central District of California. On behalf of my office and the Department of Justice, I'm here to show our support and our collaboration with the Department of Homeland Security in their mission to protect the American people and to do immigration enforcement operations, specifically at targeted known criminals, which is the primary focus of most of our missions to date. I want to also thank the National Guard and the military. We had judicial warrants to do what we did on both Friday and Saturday. And the amount of resistance and organized agitators that showed up to try to impede us was overwhelming. And we're really grateful to the President for deploying the Guard, which allowed us to continue our mission undeterred, to enforce the law, and to keep our people and our buildings safe. And that's really important. And my office has been aggressive in bringing charges. We charged several people over the weekend who dared to assault our agents. They threw rocks, they threw stones, they were breaking up concrete. It was out of control and it was violent. And some people in the state of California have been conditioned to think that there's no consequences for criminal activity. And you know, that might be true for the state of California, but it's not true with the federal government. And we will bring charges and you will go to federal prison. This is the federal government. This is not the state government. As the President said, if you spit, we hit, and we'll hit you with a felony. And we're committed to that. We're continuing to conduct. We're looking at hundreds of suspects. We're collecting social media videos. We'll be combing over that stuff for weeks and months. With
All right, I was just
because you think you got away with
hang on a
something
second.
over the weekend, and a few months from now, you get knocked more. So anyone.
So I was just rolling back on the stream, which, by the way, if it's live and you get in late, I do have it set so you can scroll all the way back. But I went back to the segment of Senator Padilla doing all those assaults on the cops, and it's on fire all over the internet. Now, this guy, I saw he gave a press conference yesterday in which he kicked ass on. Right now, I can't remember his name. I'm sure we'll find out later. But we're going to slow it down to regular speed or 1.25 speed because he is just a really good person at public relations and getting the message out. And he's young. And I think he's Latino. Who cares?
And just because you think you got away with something over the weekend, think again. In a few months from now, you could get a knock at your door. So anyone who's thinking about showing up.
Here's the other thing. I'm pretty damn sure the statute of limitations has not run out on any of the Antifa rioters, at least up back to 2020. And if so, just like they were arresting J6 people up until Biden left office, let's put the message out. You can turn yourself in, or if not, we're going to come after you. And you can turn yourself in, pay a fine, and get a misdemeanor. Otherwise, you're going to get sentenced even if it's 5 years ago. Devious plan. Let them know. Begin to work.
Up to these protests to commit violence, I really caution you to think again.
Right, I'm going to turn the mic off.
We charged 2 individuals yesterday with throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers. That is extremely dangerous and could lead to death. They're now looking at explosives charges charged by the federal government and more charges to come. So I just want to reiterate that we will be aggressive, we will be filing, and we will be swift in our deliverance of justice. And I want to thank our partners at the FBI and the ATF and DHS and all our agencies for their hard work. It has not been easy. They've been working around the clock, but they're undeterred. And I can tell you, speaking to them, they're more committed than ever to delivering on the promise of the president to make America safe again. And we need that in California, probably more than anywhere else. So with that, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that, and everyone for their comments. And with that, we're going to open it up to questions, but we're going to keep it specifically to questions that pertain to this topic and some of the operations that are ongoing here in Los Angeles and how we will sustain and build on those operations in the future. So do you want to go first? Yes. Yes.
A question for you about future planning. We know that there's more protests planned for this weekend.
Yes.
Is DHS actively planning on requesting more assistance from DoD, more troops, given those protests that are coming? Is this the administration's new playbook?
You know, what I would say is that I'm not going to telegraph exact statistics and numbers and what we are doing as far as participation with the military, but we do have several thousand engaged here in Los Angeles right now. We are assessing this weekend's threat levels, not just here, but in cities across the country, and pre-deploying assets. So we're using every tool that we have in our toolbox and pre-staging people, task forces, special swift response teams, people with specific gifts and talents that they can contribute to areas that we think they may be needed this weekend, so that we can prevent any kind of violence from being perpetuated.
What's on the table? The idea of bringing more troops.
You know, I would say the president has the right to utilize every authority that he has under the Constitution to utilize Title X and to bring in military assets and National Guard units as needed, and he'll continue to assess that and use his prerogative to decide when it's necessary. Yeah.
Madam Secretary, you had previously asked the Defense Secretary to direct troops to arrest people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you'd still like to see?
You know, I think what I had talked was a conversation with the Department of Defense to ask them to use the authorities that they have in conjunction with the president to make sure that there's consequences for people who perpetuate violence. So that is what the assessment is, and they're being utilized to the fullest extent to which the president wishes to at this point in time. And I'm so thankful we have a U.S. attorney and a Department of Justice that is going out there and prosecuting these crimes as well. That's something that was very different under the Biden administration. That is a game changer now. We have a president now that believes in the rule of law and that is going to make sure that when people break the law, no matter who you are, that you will be prosecuted and you will be brought to justice. Yes, sir.
Madam Secretary,
yes.
Salvador Duran with the Nation Network.
Yeah.
2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, do you have an estimated number of people that have been detained and deported? Mm-hmm. And the second question I have to ask you, would you please address Senator Padilla's interruption to your press conference?
You know, I'm not.
Even pressing charges for what we just witnessed here.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know the senator. He did not request a meeting with me or to speak with me. So when I leave here, I'll have a conversation with him and visit and find out really what his concerns were. I think everybody in America would agree that that wasn't appropriate. That if you wanted to have a civil discussion, especially as a leader, a public official, that you would reach out and try to have a conversation. For instance, I have left voicemails for Governor Newsom wanting to have a conversation. Has he returned them? No, he hasn't. I know that the White House has reached out and had conversations with Mayor Bass as well. And so that's what you do to try to start these conversations and ask for partnerships. Unfortunately, we haven't met that in this area. I'll visit with the senator and find out really what his concerns are and what we can do.
And as far as the estimate number of people that
you know, what I would say is that we have over 1,500 people that we have been interdicting with, arresting for different situations, and we will continue to build on that. That's been just over the last few days. Know that we have more assets now today than we did yesterday. We had more yesterday than we did the day before, so we are only building momentum. This is only going to continue and be increased until we have peace on the streets of Los Angeles. The president has told me, Christy, use everything that we have to make sure that the citizens of Los Angeles know that we care about them, that they have lived with crime for far too long, and that we want them to be able to walk their children to school in the morning and feel safe. We want them to, small businesses downtown, to not have to worry about getting burned to the ground because some organized crime nonprofit funder is deciding that now is the time to send a political message or an agenda. So we're going to stay here and build our operations until we make sure that we liberate the city of Los Angeles. Yes, back there. I'm going to do 2 more if that's okay. Go ahead.
Can you talk a little bit about the specific number in terms of immigration-related arrests that you make, both daily and in LA specifically?
Well, we literally have tens of thousands of targets. So I think that's what's more important. People should know that there are millions of people that are in the city illegally, and that we have, I would say, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of targets that we will be going after. Remember, this president has repeatedly said that he's going after criminals and the worst of the worst. And we're going after people that are in work sites that are trafficking drugs, that are trafficking human beings. We're DNA testing children, because many times when you see people claiming that their family members or the children they have with them that are theirs, many times when we DNA test
did she just say a minute ago that so far they've arrested 1,500 people related to the riots, or was she talking about illegal alien arrests?
Los Angeles. Yes, back there. I'm going to do 2 more if that's okay. Go ahead. Are and what we can do.
And as far as the estimate number of people that
You know, what I would say is that we have over 1,500 people that we have been interdicting with, arresting for different situations. No, the senator, he did not request a meeting with me or to speak with me. So when I leave here, I'll have a conversation with U.S. attorney and a Department of Justice that is going out there and prosecuting these crimes as well.
Okay, this is her commenting not only on that issue, but she's asked a question about Senator Padilla that tried to assault her and assaulted a half dozen federal agents.
Well, that's something that was very different under the Biden administration. That is a game changer now. We have a president now that believes in the rule of law and that is going to make sure that when people break the law, no matter who you are, that you will be prosecuted and you will be brought to justice. Yes, sir.
Secretary,
Yes.
Salvador Driver with Division Network.
Yeah.
2 questions for you. The first one is, do you have an estimate number of people that have been detained and deported? And the second question I have to ask you, would you please address Senator Padilla's interruption to your press conference?
You know, I'm not.
Consider
Yeah.
even pressing charges for what we just witnessed here.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know the senator. He did not request.
Okay, I know you cannot hear that, but he was asking how many illegals had been detained. I was hoping it was protesters. And again, if you're just tuning in, I guess I could ask him like magic box. Pretty darn sure the federal limitations is not expired for Antifa rioters, at least until 2020. And all right, I'll ask it. It's on the phone I have to type on though. Did I install Grok on it? All right, now, I don't want to make a mistake and get fact checked. Let's see if Grok beta, how that sounds. Come on, Grocky. All right, ask you anything. What is the federal statute of limitations for creating a felony by rioting?
For federal crimes involving felony rioting, the statute of limitations is generally 5 years.
Okay.
But it can vary.
Oops, I'm sorry.
No worries at all. What's on your mind?
Can you just finish talking about the statute of limitations?
Right. We were discussing the 5-year statute of limitations for felony rioting. Did you need more specifics on that?
Yes, you said there may be other situations where it's more than 5, and what I'm trying to find out is rioters that burnt property, endangered people's lives, assaulted police officers in the summer of 2020, especially groups like Antifa, who were even arrested but let go. Can they be recharged, and are there any charges that are beyond 5 years of limitations?
For those specific actions in summer 2020, like burning property, endangering lives, and assaulting police officers,
Yeah.
some charges, like arson or felony assault on a federal officer, have no statute of limitations if they involve potential life sentences or terrorism-related acts. If the rioters were part of organized groups like Antifa and their actions were classified as domestic terrorism, they could potentially be recharged, especially if new evidence or federal investigations emerge.
Track down those mobile numbers. Oh my gosh. Cash Patel, since you seem to know jack shit about Epstein or a couple other issues when you look like a dumbass on Joe Rogan. I mean, he didn't even know about the Go watch the Rogan interview and forward like about a third into it, and Cash, he doesn't know any of the details of this stuff. There's something weird. Anyways, I digress. Cash, Pam, Donald, go after them. We know you can get the cell phone data everywhere those phones were. And do it. Do it now. And start with the ones that you can get on terrorism charges. And yes. First go after the ones where it's only 5 years. No, go for the big fish. Go for the big fish. Oh, yeah. Now, are they going to think about that? Like I said, Cash didn't know jack shit about Epstein, and there was another issue they were talking about. He didn't know the. Anyways, that's the plan, Stan.
A meeting with me or to speak with me. So when I leave here, I'll have a conversation with him and visit and find out really what his concerns were. I think everybody in America would,
you have to visit
would
him
agree
in
that
jail.
that wasn't appropriate. That if you wanted to have a civil discussion, especially as a leader, a public official, that you would reach out and try to have a conversation. For instance, I have left voicemails for Governor Newsom wanting to have a conversation. Has he returned them? No, he hasn't. I know that the White House has reached out and had conversations with Mayor Bass as well. And so that's what you do to try to start these conversations and ask for partnerships. Unfortunately, we haven't met that in this area. I'll visit with the senator and find out really what his concerns are. And what we can do.
Visit them in jail.
You know, what I would say is that we have over 1,500 people that we have been interdicting with, arresting for different situations, and we will continue to build on that. That's been just over the last few days. I know that we have more assets now today than we did yesterday. We had more yesterday than we did the day before, so we are only building momentum. This is only going to continue and be increased until we have peace on the streets of Los Angeles. The president has told me just to use everything that we have to make sure that the citizens of Los Angeles know that we care about them, that they have lived with crime for far too long, and that we want them to be able to walk their children to school in the morning and feel safe. We want them to small businesses downtown to not have to worry about getting burned to the ground because some organized crime nonprofit funder is deciding that now is the time to send a political message or an agenda. So we're going to stay here and build our operations until we make sure that we liberate the city of Los Angeles.
Us are in
yes,
there
back
now.
there.
Well,
I'm going to do two more if that's okay. Go ahead.
Can you talk a little bit about the specific number in terms of immigration-related arrests, both daily and
I can't believe she was.
Well, we literally have tens of thousands of targets. So I think that's what's more important. People should know that there are millions of people that are in the city illegally, and that we have, I would say, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of targets that we will be going after. And remember, this president has repeatedly said that he's going after criminals and the worst of the worst. And we're going after people that are in work sites that are trafficking drugs, that are trafficking human beings. We're DNA testing children because many times when you
Trust me, I had a friend in the construction business in Columbus, Ohio, and the illegals on the crews, they were the ones always trying to deal dope, always drunk, always stoned. It's a fact, and they were criminals.
See people claiming that their family members or
I
the
mean, they
children
gotta
have
work
with them are
somewhere for
theirs.
cover,
Many
right?
times when we DNA test them, they're not. They're really peddling our children, and and they have human slavery going on, child trafficking, pedophilia. So we are going after those individuals that we have intelligence on, and we will continue to only build on that. And yes, I'm sorry to get to you right away.
There is some rhetoric out there that some of the people who have been detained, arrested in detention are not criminals or do not have a criminal history. Can you address that? There's a lot of rhetoric out
Everybody
there.
here.
Well, there's a lot of rhetoric and there's a lot of false information and a lot of fake news. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would start covering the facts. And we'll get you all that information that we possibly can. Now, there may be people that because of the targets that we were out there arresting, that were with those individuals, they were collaterals that were spending time with them, and all those people will be vetted. And remembering, still in the United States, if you come into this country illegally, you have committed a crime. And so when you do that, we have to go through and follow the law and make sure that we're adjudicating that and dealing with that appropriately. So the president's targets and priorities are the criminals that have perpetuated violence.
And even if you do come into this country illegally, it's by law you have to let the government know that you've come in illegally after 30 days. And if you don't do it, federal crime.
Violence. But also, once again, I'm going to remind everybody, you have the opportunity to self-deport. We will buy you a plane ticket.
Buy them the ticket and give them a $20,000 per person gratuity to get their life back together. Because we're going to spend $200,000 on that person or that family. And they would go in a moment. And then you have the opportunity to come back and do it the right way. Any common sense person, you know, you're going to get back. We'll give you back what you paid to get here. Plus, I don't know, figure out, but make it a chunk. Because otherwise we're going to pay a chunk for all their expenses.
Ticket. We will give you $1,000 when you land.
No, you make it 10. Go to 10 and then go to 20 and then go to 30. Get them out the easy way.
In your home country, or if you go home to Mexico, and then we will get you scheduled so that you can come back to this country legally. You will have the opportunity to come back to the United States of America. If you don't do that and you wait until we come and arrest you and have to remove you, you will never get the chance. to come and live in the United States of America again. The president has been clear on this. So I'd encourage you to get on the CBP Home app, and you
The
can
mower's
self-report
on. I'm
today,
gonna have to
and we
turn
will
the mic
facilitate
off.
that. You can take your entire family with you, people and your loved ones, and we will facilitate you coming to this country correctly. Everybody has the opportunity to do that. If you wait until we have to arrest you, you will never get to be an American, much less live here and work here and be able to pursue the American dream. Last question.
Madam Secretary, Alejandro Ortiz with Telemundo 52.
Yes.
You just said that you go after the worst of the worst.
Mhm.
But we've seen ICE arresting immigrants in front of their court hearings when they
Mhm.
go to their annual immigration check-ins. Even if they're going
And remember,
through the
these are
legal
people-
process, are we sending a message as a country that people, even with no criminal record, and that they're taking the legal correct path, are not safe in
If they
this
took the
country?
legal correct path, they would have come here legally. They wouldn't have come into our country illegally. Second of all,
Some of them
they
are
have final
criminals. They have
removal
come
orders.
here and
They have
maybe
final
overstayed their visa.
they have final
That's
removal
criminal.
orders, and we're
That's a
following.
civil offense, but not a criminal
The-
record.
It is actually under the acts that the president has invoked it through his executive orders. It actually is a criminal offense. And so one of the things that we need to remember is that when you're going out there and talking about what is happening with individuals who are in this country illegally, is that they have the opportunity every single day to return back home, and we will work with them and facilitate that and work with their families. But if they choose to wait back and to not make that decision today, then they are subject to this type of operation that will target those that have criminal activity and backgrounds and perpetuators of violence first. Those are our targets. But we are going to make sure that we're bringing peace back to the city of Los Angeles.
She told me she has hundreds of cases of people coming in
Mhm.
asking for asylum. They go to their immigration check-in.
So my only question to you, I'd say a question back to you is,
The last 5 years have given rise to a surge in young gambling addicts. A fresh bet is just a swipe.
here's the deal, guys. My job is not to pick and choose which laws we enforce and which ones we don't. We have laws in this country, and they matter. If you want the law changed, go to Congress. When's the last time you went to Capitol Hill and told your senator or representative to change it? That's what they need to do. This is the perfect time for Congress to make a decision on how they want people in this country to be able to have an opportunity to come here legally and to fix this. We, as law enforcement officers and as a national security department and agency, my job is to uphold the law, and that's what I will continue to do. Yes, sir, I'm going to finish with you. And I kind of like the Bass Pro hat, too, so I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go to you. So go ahead. Yes. Nope, these operations... I will say these operations have been much more difficult because of Los Angeles and California's sanctuary policies. SB 54 has been difficult for us, and we don't have the backup of your local law enforcement. That's put our officers in danger. In fact, even this morning, we had Highway Patrol that we were working with. I was talking to officers. They were so happy that we were here, and they were grateful that we were here interdicting with these criminals. And then the governor found out that I was here, and he pulled them off of me and told him to go back home and to not cooperate with us anymore. So if you don't think your governor's being political, he gets up every single day and the first hat he puts on is the political one. And then he makes a decision that's best for him and his family. And then he makes a decision that's best for what his future is. And then maybe 10 or 15 steps down the line, he'll decide what's best for his people. That's what your governor does. Next, I'm going to come to you.
Can you talk about the potential change in policy with President Trump on about maybe suggesting exemption for longstanding farm workers and postal workers?
Yeah, I think the president recognizes that we have some Department of Labor regulations.
Oh, he's talking about how earlier today, if you weren't watching the At Home for the Truth stream, oh, by the way, Dirk Thompson on here, the president, at his signing orders to get rid of the EV mandate, took questions from the press, and he said, look, if these farmers have employees that have worked for them for 10, 20 years, and they're great citizens, we need to come up with a plan for that. He also said he was in favor of foreign visas, and even the Chinese. I love the Chinese. He totally blows everybody away, and the media gets the story completely wrong.
Regulations and laws that we can utilize in certain situations. And he and I have discussed this at length and with other cabinet officials. And it's the president and I will continue to look at that and evaluate what we can do as far as individuals and facilitating a workforce in this country that we know are people who want to be here legally, what the consequences are for them breaking the law, because everybody, when they break the law, there has to be consequences. But what we can do to facilitate making sure that those who really do love the United States of America have the opportunity at some point to live here and to be a part of our future and to be a part of this country and our economy and the dream of raising their children here. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I've been traveling around Los Angeles all morning. I saw a lot of graffiti, a lot of destruction. I saw quite a bit of, where we saw some of the activity. We were staying close to downtown where we were last night. It was very interesting to me. I would have preferred to have gotten into some areas that I know I was respecting the curfew because I landed after midnight and then we left the hotel this morning before 5 a.m., around 5 a.m. So, but some of those areas that we were able to see, it makes me sad. This is a phenomenal.
Sorry about the mower. I forgot to turn the speaker off. Anyways, I'm going to shut the stream down. I'm getting more used to checking out this fantastic Rumble studio. I've got to float all my designs back into Rumble, though, but I think it seems to be working all right. It only is the monkey on this end that's making any mistakes. So anyways, if you're not one of my 8,000 plus followers, add to the list, give me the 10K, and on all the social media, get Truth, X, Rumble, it's at Hunt for the number, Hunt for the Truth, and it's always, 100%, always the number 5.